The time in which we've all been holding our breath is finally here. The requirement of making vaccinations mandatory is now here. Before we go any further, you know what to do. Hit the like button because it really helps with the viewership of this video. And while you're here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you can receive updates on when new videos like these are posted. Before the YouTube reviewers come for me, full disclaimer, I am in no way endorsing the vaccine, nor am I being suggestive or in opposition to those who have received it or are planning to receive it. This is not a conspiracy video. This is meant to be educational and informative only. So there are a lot of changes happening on the surface. The world went into shutdown over a year ago in March of 2020 due to COVID, and here we are a year and a half later. Approximately 70% of Americans have already received at least one dose of the vaccine. With the new Delta variant predicted to be far more worse, the conversation of making vaccines mandatory is now in question. Several countries and states have already begun to enforce vaccine mandates. Walmart and Disney are making vaccinations mandatory for office workers and managers who travel to and from different locations. As of right now, it's not a requirement for staff. Kaiser Permanente, one of the largest hospitals based out of California in Atlanta, are requiring all 240,000 of their employees, nurses, physicians, and doctors to be fully vaccinated. The New York Bar Association has created a mandatory vaccine task force for all lawyers and court personnel. New York City is making a mandatory issuance that workers and customers have to show proof of their vaccination record, with being at least covered for the first vaccine in order to enter into the establishment. Governor Cuamo had a lot to say about what he's doing in his state.
O'clock and tonight, with COVID-19 numbers climbing, Governor Cuamo says masking policies may not go far enough to stop the spread of the virus.
The governor says he's now considering making vaccinations or testing requirements mandatory for some workers, including teachers. News 12's Logan Crawford has the very latest.
As COVID cases continue to rise again in New York and across the country, Governor Cuomo today recommended mandatory vaccinations for healthcare workers, nursing home staff, and teachers if the numbers keep going up.
School opens in 1 month. If you don't set a policy today, you're going to have chaos when school opens.
Nassau BOCES Superintendent Bob Dillon says in light of what the governor suggested, he's meeting with other Nassau superintendents today to discuss strategies for the fall. But he says they can't just force teachers to get a COVID shot.
We have no power to mandate vaccination.
The New York State United Teachers Union says that they fully support on-site and free COVID testing for teachers, but they're against mandatory vaccinations.
If they need their vaccinations, that's their choice.
Many people we spoke with say getting a COVID-19 vaccine should be a personal decision.
I feel a lot safer if everyone is vaccinated, but I think it should be a choice to allow people to whether they should get vaccinated or not.
Nursing homes like Nassau Rehabilitation and the union representing healthcare workers at Nassau University Medical Center tell News 12 they're waiting on more specific guidelines from the state about enforcing mandatory vaccination for their employees. Logan Crawford, News 12 Long Island.
So vaccine mandates are not just being created within the US, they're being made mandatory on an international level. Australia is making vaccines mandatory for high-risk aged care workers and employees. They also made them mandatory for Paralympic athletes headed to Tokyo for the Olympics. Britain has made vaccines mandatory for home healthcare workers, nightclubs, and all large venues. In France, all healthcare workers are required to have the vaccine, as well as anyone wanting to enter into a cinema or travel by train. They're also beginning to impose fines for businesses who do not check to see if customers are vaccinated. In Greece, you must be vaccinated if you're a healthcare worker, if you want to go indoor dining, if you want to go to an indoor bar, or if you'd like to go to a movie theater. Indonesia made vaccines mandatory in February, with its capital of Jakarta threatening fines of up to $357 to anyone who refuses the vaccine. In Italy, the Italian government has decreed that healthcare workers and pharmacists must be vaccinated, and anyone who refuses could be suspended without pay for the rest of the year. Hungary has initiated mandatory vaccines. Kazakhstan has mandated weekly testing for anyone who works in a group over 20 if they refuse the vaccine. Russia has made a plan to have more than 60% of their country vaccinated by August 15th. Saudi Arabia has the strictest mandate. All public and private sector employers working in the workplace must be vaccinated. It'll be required to enter into any government, private, or educational establishment, or to use public transportation. And this is as of August 1st. It'll also be a requirement in order to travel outside of the country. Citizens must show that they have received at least 2 of the doses. You know, I remember how hopeful we all were when this pandemic first happened. I remember everyone thinking that it was just a short thing and it would be over soon. The world has flipped over on its side in just a year. We're entering into a time where very important decisions will have to be made. We're about to see who the tares are that have been sown in with the wheat. Because what will you do when these questions end up at your front door? When you have to make a decision about your job, your home, how you travel, how you eat. It's getting real. Are you prepared for what's next? What are you going to do? Let me know how you feel about this. What's your thoughts? What's your perspective? And if you're lost and confused, or if you're conflicted about your decisions, I challenge you to go into fasting and prayer. The best way to hear the voice of the Lord is to dedicate yourself to fasting and prayer so that His voice will be magnified in your life. Until next time, I wish you all peace and comfort over your lives. Be kind to one another and make good decisions. Bye-bye.